Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, I did a video a little while back on a camping trip I went on, and I showed some of the knives that I took along with me and got quite a few comments and a few PMs about this knife right here, and I figured I would make a video sort of a second or closer look at the knife. Okay. Now, as I stated before, this is a Scagel designed knife, and quite frankly it is just a beautiful knife. And Scagel design knives, whereas I have heard of them before, and but I didn't really know much about the individual and much about the about his operation and things of that nature. So I looked on the internet and looked at some forums and looked at some articles written about the man. His name was William Scagel, Bill Scagel. And it seems to be a little bit of controversy on when he was actually born. Sometimes I've seen it written as 1875, and sometimes I've seen it written as 1873. But at any rate, he unfortunately passed in 1963. Okay, so he did live a good full life. And he lived a life of, he was quite a character. He lived a life of self-sufficiency. Now, for a large part of his life, especially in later life, he lived upstairs in a barn, and his shop was below. And he didn't use electricity. He had a hatred towards the power company. And it is said in some places that he used all antique forges and hand tools and things of that nature to make his knives. And I've also seen where somebody was saying that he had took an engine out of an old Cadillac and was using that to power some of his equipment. So I'm not really sure, but the preppers out there would probably really have liked him a lot because of his self-sufficiency. He ate very simple foods, grew some of his foods. He pulled his own teeth. He set his own bones, and later in life he even made his own dentures. So he really did live a life of simplicity, a life off the grid, as you will, and he was kind of a cool guy. Let me share a story, and I hope this story is true, but I've read it a couple of times, so I have some confidence. In 1939, there was a polio outbreak, and some of the neighboring doctors came to him, and he started making braces for children, those steel braces that you often seen maybe pictures of or things of that nature of young children with polio. He made them, by the way, at no cost, and he often ornated them with engraving. And as a matter of fact, nowadays collectors are paying thousands and thousands of dollars to collect those braces. His knives and his designs were so well thought of that nowadays, if you have an original Scagel knife that's in good condition, you can get upwards of $40,000 for it. Now, he was considered the father of modern day cutlery, and I have seen it written several times that you can actually see his designs in many of the modern blades of today for camping and hunting and skinning, stuff of that nature. So he really is a tribute to the cutlery and knife making art. Now, this right here happens to be a medium Bowie, and Bowie, however you say it. At any rate, it has a 5.5 inch blade, okay, has a convex edge, and the thickness of the blade is just under 1/4 inch. I believe it's 0.217 inches at its thickest point here. And one of the things that I do like about this knife is the fact that it starts out really thick, and it gets thinner towards the tip. And it does have a good design where it's still a strong tip, but it's thin, and it will allow you to do more intricate work, either with wood or even skinning and preparing game. So it really is a well thought out design. Now, this particular knife is licensed to be made by Knives Ship Free, which is a company that sells knives, and they contacted or contracted, excuse me, Bark River Knife and Tool, owned by Mike Stewart. Now, I have a lot of Bark River knives. I think they're very high quality. I used the heck out of them, and I have enjoyed them. And this knife right here has his signature A2 steel. It's a high carbon steel. He often boasts on his heat treatment of that steel. At any rate, it's a good working steel. Now, like all high carbon steels, you have to make sure that you keep it oiled down good or it will rust. But all in all, it's a good working steel. Now, I said before, and I'll say it really quickly, this is like an antique colored micarta, and it has beautiful spacers on there. And this knife has a stick tang, which I mentioned in my earlier video. Now, what that means basically, and look, let's see if we can, because you can see where the tang starts, right there and right there, and it narrows towards the pommel, and that was the way that knives were made a long time ago. Now, I know some people are going to say that, well, that makes that knife weaker. It's not as strong. Well, I would remind you that the Marine Corps K-bar has a stick tang, and no one has really questioned its durability or strength. This is a well thought out, well designed knife, and this is an excellent knife that's been made by Bark River Knives to sort of celebrate the Scagel designs. Okay? And I tell you what, it just feels good in the hand, and it works really well in camp chores. I like the 5.5 inch blade on it. I've often said that I like knives around the 5 to 6 inch for camping knives. But I tell you what, this knife looks so good that I had to get its big brother. Okay, and this is another Scagel design knife. This is the large Bowie. It has an 8-inch blade. Has the same steel, A2, and this one is really hefty. I tell you what, this one, you really feel like you got a knife in your hand when you grab this one. The 8-inch blade is made, like I said, of A2, and it is just over 1/4 inch thick. It's .254, and this is another knife that is I think exclusively offered by Knives Ship Free. This is another knife that is also being made by Bark River. Alright, well, one more thing. I talked about this sheath in the other video, and it's a very nice high quality leather sheath, and the 8-inch knife came with a again, a very high quality leather sheath, and you can see that it's very well done, very well stitched. It's also been treated with a waterproof or water resistant treatment on there to extend the life of the sheath. But what you'll notice that's different is the way that it fits on the belt. Now, you can either wear it where the knife sits straight up, or because of this section right here, like you see in some holsters, you can wear this in a cross draw fashion on your offside, making it much easier to retrieve the knife, and to kind of sort of keep it out of the way when you're kneeling and sitting and things of that nature. Once again, that's well thought out, an excellent design for the sheath. And these are two just absolutely gorgeous knives. And take a good look at them, because you may see them in other videos, but they're not going to look this good anymore. I intend to scratch and beat and thump these knives just like I would any other camp knife. And good thing about it is they're going to look awfully good while I do it. Alright folks, that's probably all I needed to say about these knives. Try to show some more knives in the future, mix them in with showing you some guns. As always, thanks for watching, and shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.